So you want to buy an eBay hood scoop. Let's put it on.
Looks pretty good.
What I'm gonna do is just, that looks good.
Here in like 5 days, it's gonna be all new tires on there.
Well, like usual, Amazon screws me. I ordered 4 tires, only 3 of them actually showed up. So that's all I can get put on today. I also ordered a couple other things that I'm gonna put on the car. They're for the inside. I'll show you those in a little bit. All right, so just dropped the wheels and tires off at the shop. Guy said it's gonna be about an hour, so I'm gonna run up to the parts store, see if I can't find some little bit nicer lug nuts that'll match those wheels, because the ones that I have are real old. Then I'm gonna shoot up to Tractor Supply, get another sheet of sheet metal, because I got to thinking, and I really don't like that instrument cluster. I don't like it at all. The plastic is old and brittle. It's already broken. The gauges are old. They're ugly. And at this point, we can do whatever we want. So I'm gonna make a new set of gauges. There you have it. Tires are on. I still need the front passenger side tire to come in to get it mounted and balanced so I can install it. But I wanted to get everyone's opinion on something real quick. Now, granted, you can kind of see it's kind of going downhill just a tiny bit, but it almost seems as if the rear end is sitting up way too high. So I think I want to, I don't know, what's y'all's opinion on that? I mean, it looks cool, but I really kind of want the car a little bit lower to the ground. I think I can't go too low because, you know, don't focus on the muffler up underneath there, because that muffler is going to get moved closer to the rear. That was just temporary, but you know, when I tuck that pipe up, I can get this car down some. I don't know, we'll see. I might, maybe once I drive it I'll love it, but I don't know if the stance is right yet. It just seems very high up off the ground. But that's done, so now I'm going to move on to the steering wheel. So at first I was gonna get a Grant, right? I like Grant steering wheels, they're nice. And this is one from AutoZone. I didn't go into the store to buy it, I needed something else, but when I was there, I was like, I wonder if they have any steering wheels, what they look like. This is the steering wheel we're gonna go with. I have the installation kit for it too, because you gotta get that. So I'm gonna get this opened up, and then I'm gonna show you this steering wheel next to the old one still in the car, so you can kind of see if this is something you want to do, comparing one to the other. So let me get this opened up. Okay, so if you're wondering what kind of size difference, I took the center cap off, so you know, don't worry about that, but this is the new one. Look at, you can literally just like that. I don't even have to get you all the way in here, but I will, so you can see. So like an idiot, I thought that I'd be able to just get this off with just a ratchet. It actually kind of rusted in there, so we're gonna give it just a little bit of PB. Let me get a breaker bar and try again. Or shooter pipe, I should say. I have a breaker bar at the house, but I'm not at the house. Didn't really take much, just that I just wasn't quite strong enough to get it past the first little spot. So I got ahead of myself just real quick. I forgot to show y'all there's these Phillips. You got to take those out, because otherwise you got to get more of this off, because otherwise the 2 bolts that you put in, you can't quite get them in just straight. So I'm gonna take this off, then I'm gonna put the puller on. So I got this off. Like I said, it was just the 3 Phillips here and here. And then on the back side, you have a spade connector that you just unclip, and then you got another little Phillips that you undo. And now we have access. So I'm I'm gonna find the couple of bolts that fit and then get everything set up, and then we'll see if it comes off. Got the puller on, got the bolts on, got it started, so fingers crossed she pops off. Literally that easy, which is amazing because, you know, if you're new to the channel, you should know that anytime I'm like, this will be easy, this won't take long, I've done this before, and it's like a bolt breaks, or bolt head strips, or I can't find a tool that I need, or something stupid always happens. So I'm actually on a roll of like things going my way here lately, so that's kind of exciting. All right, let's get the installation kit out and we'll get everything set up and we'll get the new steering wheel on. Hey, look at there. Like I said, I don't have my key, but even if I did, I don't have a horn right now, but do you see this? Just kidding, I didn't wire it up because I didn't feel like fooling with the wire, but I saved it. That way, if I ever do decide I want to put a horn on it, all I got to do is pop this cap off and it'll be super easy. But anyways, look at that. Bam. That looks great. I'm pretty happy with it. It's going to go well with our shifter and just kind of the whole build, you know? A little bit of slop, but that's just because it's locked. Anyways, I don't want to talk too much because then I start sounding stupid, but I'm very happy with this. Like, I'm very, very happy with this. Like I said, I'm kind of a bigger guy, and, you know, this lets me comfortably, you know, cruise and still be able to see everything because, where's it at? Look at that. This thing is massive. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, if my power steering ever goes out, I'm going to wish I had that big granny wheel, but that's all right. It's better to be cool than practical. Next up is I'm going to get this right here out. I'm going to pull this. I'm going to bring it inside and put on my thinking cap and get some cardboard and start mapping this thing out how I want to do it. All right, back on the bench. So I got my cluster out, got my tack out. I'm gonna move my tack. Where my tack was connected, I found off of Amazon is 15 bucks. I'll post it up right here. It's just a little 2-port charging port so I can charge my cell phone, whatever. And I think it'll fill that spot better. But what I'm gonna do is kind of try to recreate this shape out of metal. And then I'm gonna put speedometer, tack, and then my fuel gauge. Now, the fuel cell I bought uses a GM sending unit, okay? So it doesn't work with this, it's the wrong ohm. This temperature gauge sucks, right? That's all there is to it. It doesn't give you a real accurate reading. This is an ammeter instead of a voltmeter, so that's garbage. And then, yeah, you know, you got your oil light right here, but I have an oil pressure gauge that I haven't hooked up yet, but I have one. So the only thing that I'm going to be using off of this is going to be the wiper motor, right? And the light switch. Okay, so I've been trying to recreate this shape, and I can't seem to, no matter what kind of pieces I cut and try to, you know, tape together, because I really wanted the gauge just to kind of sit flat. But what I'm going to do is I went ahead and I went inside the car and I got a piece that's about right. So I think what I'm going to do is, instead of having it like it was, it'll just be a little bit more like this. Now, when I set the gauge in, when I drill the hole to set the gauge in, there'll be a gap on the sides unless I make like a hood type thing, or I don't know. We'll get to that bridge when we cross it, but I think the next step is I'm gonna put this onto my metal, get it cut, get it bent into shape to set into the car. And then we'll just keep figuring stuff out. So I'm definitely a little wide. I can tell that from the get-go. But all I'm trying to do is figure out where I want to put this bend. Looking like right about there would be just about perfect. Yep. So I'm going to take this. Mostly because I left my pin inside. I'll hold my mark where I want to bend it. And then we're going to figure out a way to do that. Hopefully keeping it straight. Okay, so I used the first piece and I kept cutting and grinding and cutting and grinding until it fit into the car real nice. That notch that I'd cut out for the steering column, I didn't like that and it was too much. It really looked kind of ugly. So after I got everything kind of like perfect, I used that as a template and I've recut everything. And now we did the smart thing, put some angle iron down, put it between that, we'll bend it, then we'll go put it out in the car and we'll figure out where we're going to put the gauges. And that's going to be about all I get done today. You see that hole right there? That's where the tack was, right? And what I'm going to do now is put that little 12-volt charger thing for charging cell phones. Sorry about the wind, it's really windy. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of look at it and kind of figure out where I want my gauges to be. And I'll just put maybe a mark on the backside or something because I gotta clean this thing up and put some primer on it and let it sit for a couple days because of how cold it is. But this is what we're gonna have. So like I said, I'm doing a tack or speedometer. I don't know, maybe I'll put the speedometer right here. Speedometer right here maybe. Tack over here maybe. And then do my fuel gauge right here and then do like a boom boom for my wiper motors and then my headlights maybe. I don't know, that's a lot of space, but I really wanted to leave those two gauges there. And then I'm putting my radio right there. So it's gonna go radio, those gauges with switches, that charging port, and then all in here I have to play with. So maybe I'll get a volt gauge, add a volt gauge also, just to kind of make it look a little bit better. Not sure. At any rate, let me clean this up and shoot some primer on it. Well, there you have it, guys. That's in primer. So we'll let that sit for a little bit. And then I'll hit it with a second coat. And then that's gonna be about all I can do with that right now. So I wish I had the gauges in because then I would have at least marked out, you know, where I wanted my holes and everything to be and where I wanted the gauges to sit. But what can you do, you know? I've just been having so many issues shipping with Amazon lately. I don't get it. But once the gauges come in, I'll figure out where I want to put them. We'll kind of look at some different options. And then we'll drill the holes and get them in, and then I'll shoot some paint on that little panel. So I think I'm gonna go gunmetal gray. Because I was messing around with that metal so much, I ended up scratching up the dash. So I'm gonna have to take that dash out and clean it up and shoot a couple more coats of paint on it, because it's just all scratched up. So kind of sucks, is what it is. Sometimes you take a couple steps forward, take a step back, but car's getting done. It's looking good. It's a little bit, like trailer park race car dash for my liking, but the real nice ones are like $1,000 with all the gauges. So this will at least get me by until then. So next week, we're going to continue on with this. And then I still got to pour 15 the car and sound dead in the car. And there's still all kinds of work left to do, but one step at a time. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great week. See you next time.